Hello Taurus, it is time for your December general tarot reading. I've got your cards already pulled. Today I'll be using the Wildwood Tarot. And yes, this box is huge. It actually comes with a book, so that's why it's gigantic. Anyway, we'll jump right in. We actually have 4 major arcana today, and they are our first 4 cards. We start out with 14, which is Balance, the Green Man, the Shaman, the Forest Lovers. We have the 7 of Arrows, which is Insecurity. We have the 8 of Arrows, which is Struggle. We have the 2 of Vessels, which is Attraction. We have the Page of Stones, the King of Vessels, and the 8 of Vessels, which is Rebirth. With Balance, starting out there, it seems fairly obvious. But it also has the red and blue in the serpents there. And for me, that always represents masculine and feminine. So it's speaking about a balance of energies. And with the Green Man, it is, I want to say it's like the Emperor. So it is the full embodiment of the masculine energy. But you can also see here, it's like, I almost want to say Father Earth instead of Mother Earth. At the same time, it's similar to the Shaman, which also came up. And with the Shaman, this is like the Magician card, so it does have a representation of each of the elements. The smoke for air. We have this, it's like a hollowed out antler, which is a cup. We have the blade here, a stone blade. And then a symbol of earth. So it does encompass all of that, but that really, the Shaman really speaks to personal creative power and personal magic. And I refer to magic as like the power that each of us have to make our own dreams come true, to create the reality that we want to live in. Again, we have the Forest Lovers. So we not only do we have balance between personal masculine and feminine, but it's also, now it circles back to 2 different forms of creative magic. Speaking of like an internal part, where it seems almost like it's pulled in the masculine energy. So it started out with masculine and feminine, goes to masculine, then talks about our ability, the ability to create. I'll also say this deck is very, very earthy, which is why I wanted to read with it for Taurus. Then this romance comes in outside of self. But with it, it seems like it's bringing insecurity. The 7 of Arrows. And you can see that she's very distressed. There's no one there who is persecuting her, but it's like you wished for this relationship, like you actually manifest a relationship, and now you're struggling with feelings of insecurity. And it's funny because I just picked up Struggle, which is 7-8. And here we have someone who's wandering through a frozen wasteland, and there's arrows all around them on the ground, and they're holding a light, and you can see their face. They look, I don't know if you can see that, but they do look very distressed. and it's cold and they've come through water and it's like, but at the same time you're feeling a lot of attraction to this person, this situation. And ideally with attraction, you're both pouring into the situation, but in this case it seems like even if they are pouring into the situation, you don't feel that. You're feeling very shy and very hidden. But someone in this situation is still feeling this energy here, the King of Vessels, which is the heron. And they actually do prey on fish that they're like above the water. They're kind of tiptoeing around through the water and then preying on these fish. And that of course is the circle of life, but that's not how you want a relationship to be. And then we have the Eight of Vessels, which is rebirth. So it's like you brought all of this in, and now you're facing the struggle and the insecurity, but you're still attracted to this person, but there is an imbalance in this relationship. And we started this whole reading with talking about balance, and it's like they have knocked you off balance. You have lost your balance. You're now more so in the masculine, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily that you are, one of you is more so in the masculine than the other, and that's not in and of itself isn't a bad thing, because we each have a little more masculine or feminine, or some people are 100% balanced, but then again within the relationship there has to be a balance of masculine and feminine, and it doesn't so much matter who has more of the other, just so much as you balance each other, which is fine. But in this case, it seems like you started off balance, and now one of you is more masculine than the other, than is natural for you. That being the key, this is not what is natural for you. And in that sense, that is where the insecurity comes from. And that's where the rebirth comes in, because you need the rebirth in order to rebalance yourself, to find the piece of you that you have lost in this shift. And it could be that you've been single for a long time, or you haven't been in a relationship, or you haven't cared about someone in this way in a long time, and it is that this shift is uncomfortable and unnatural for you just because it has been a while. But in order to really enjoy this relationship and not feel insecure and all the struggle, then you need a bit of a rebirth. And that doesn't mean that anyone goes away, but it does mean that you spend more time with self. I'm going to see if I can clarify who is more in their masculine. I will say that the struggle and insecurity are both showing up. They are both, I'm not going to say showing up, but they're both feminine characters on the cards. So it seems that whoever is more so in the masculine is not the person who is feeling insecure. It's the feminine who's feeling insecure. So the card that fell out there's actually, oh wow, there's 5 cards. So we had protection. We had the King of Stones, which is the horse. We had the King, I'm sorry, that was the Knight of Stones. Then we have the King of Stones, which is the wolf. We have the Ten of Bows, which is responsibility. And we have the Page of Bows, which is a stoked. Let me see. I'm not familiar with the stoked, so I'm going to look that up in the book. But it's like responsibility showing up again, which is struggle. Oh. So you can see the way that this person is overburdened and someone's struggling here. It's not that one person specifically, like somebody is feeling insecure in this situation for sure, but it's not something that they're going through alone. The partner in this situation feels that responsibility. They're trying to take on some of this burden. They may not necessarily know what their partner is feeling or how to be helpful, but they know that something's wrong. And I feel like the first part of that is talk about what you're feeling. The King of Stones is a very grounded energy, but it's strongly masculine, so I would place these together. And then we have the Four of Stones, which is protection. So someone is feeling very vulnerable in this situation. And then again, we have the Knight of Stones, which there's a lot of movement in this situation. So as you've flowed through this story, it's kind of going through these different phases. And I feel like this goes together for the masculine. Being more so in the masculine energy, being very strong in that, being kind of an alpha almost, and then being with the Knight, being young and a little, not immature, but not at the point of like wisdom enough to know how to handle this situation, but also trying to take some responsibility. And over here with insecurity, what it is, you're wanting to feel protection and stability and being sure of yourself, and somehow with being pulled off balance, you are not feeling that. I am going to look up the Page of Bows and see what that is about, because I'm not familiar with that creature specifically. I'm just looking in my book here. All right, so the Page of Bows on this side. So there's actually a time period for this, which is position of the wheel is moving away from midsummer towards Lammas. Meaning with a fierce hunting instinct and its ability to live underground, combined with the changing color of its fur, white to red, and its black tail, the three sacred colors of the ancient world, the stoat has strong mystical links to the sovereignty of the land. So as a person in your life, a charming and adventurous individual who may act as an ambassador, she or he can sometimes be overzealous. As a stranger who moves through your life, she may act as a catalyst for change. As a friend, she can be a go-between who represents your interests. She can also be hasty and gullible. So this can also be an event or happening, like something like, ooh, I see. So there's also, we have the Knight of Stones, which is the horse, which is movement. So if it is, I mean, I feel like this movement applies to the masculine energy in any case, but we can see that the stoat here can more so apply to the person who's feeling insecure or in need of protection. in that they may be, like, if you're confiding, if in your situation you're confiding in a friend, that this is more so the friend that you're confiding in, which can also create some confusion, but it can also actually be the event instead of it actually being a person. So in that case, it would be unexpected news, help from out of the blue, an opportunity to shine, a dream or a vision, strange, unsettling news. So it can still fall into that space where instead of it being a person, it is the event itself. Taurus, I see that, I mean, you really do have a lot going on, but I feel like part of it is to cut the, I don't want to say cut the middleman out, but cut the middleman out. Like, you have to communicate for yourself. You can't rely on someone to run between you and your partner. Your partner wants to understand, they want to help, they want to do the right thing, but they don't know how. They're not experienced enough to know how to solve this for you. And if without communication, they're unable to help. So trust that and just communicate when you are feeling insecure, when you are feeling your emotions, let them in, because they do want to help. And the only way they can help is if you communicate with them. I hope this was helpful, Taurus, and we will see you next time.